motherfucking neck drop.
Hello, my creepy cupcakes, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing this 13 Ghosts look. Let's get into it. I'm starting off by creating the straight jacket. I'm mixing the brown and the white body paints to create this tan body paint. And I'm going to be painting from the neck down on my arms and my upper chest, all that tan color. To give the jacket a little bit of like a worn look, I'm also mixing in a little bit of yellow body paint into the mix, and then I'm going to be also applying a little bit of dark brown just to kind of mix it up a little bit and give you a little bit more of a sense of idea that this jacket is very old. With brown body paint, I'm going to start drawing out the features on this straight jacket. Working on the neck first, I'm going to be drawing that neckline. And then I'm going to be drawing the circles on the straight jacket. I don't know what these are technically called, but we're gonna call them circles. On the neck, I'm also drawing this circle, but I'm not going to be filling it all the way through because technically there is a piece of material that that circle is clinging onto. So on each of these, they're gonna be a little bit like not full circles, but you know what I mean. Wearing a real straight jacket for this look would have definitely been freaking awesome, but painting it on is still pretty cool too. To give each of those little circles some depth, I'm taking some black body paint on a little bit more of a defined brush, and I'm adding that pretty randomly around each of those circles just to give it just a very old look that's just like rusting away. And with a wide brush and brown body paint, I'm going to be drawing these lines down the front of the jacket pretty much to look like leather straps, you know, because I'm pretty crazy. With black body paint and a small brush, I'm just adding a little bit of black body paint to the sides of each of those straps to make them look like they're actually going through the loop. With a fluffy brush and white body paint, I'm adding some white body paint on top of that fabric where it looks like the hoop is going through the fabric. This is going to give it a highlighted look and look more realistic, and we'll revisit that in a little bit. I'm also going to be working my way around the jacket to create some highlighted areas, like the jacket is worn in some areas or the light is just hitting it to where it's kind of giving it a little bit of a white look. I'm filling in each of those holes with the white body paint too, just kind of dabbing or stippling that white body paint on just to kind of give a little bit of dimension, like that is not part of the jacket and the jacket is like over top of a t-shirt or something. I added some more straps to the sides on top of the shoulders just because I felt like it was looking pretty plain, and with some black body paint on a little stippling brush, I'm just stippling a little bit of black body paint onto each of those straps to start giving them a very worn look. I'm also adding some yellow body paint to them just to give them. I'm taking a smaller, more defined brush, and I'm adding some white body paint to the sides of each of the leather straps to give it a little bit of a worn, torn apart look on the sides. I do go back over top of those about 2 to 3 times because when the white dries down, it doesn't usually dry down as vibrant. So I do go back over those a couple times, but you won't see that. The fluffy brush from earlier and white body paint, I'm stippling that on because the jacket itself did have tears through it. So I'm trying to emulate that on this jacket by just kind of stippling that white body paint on. And then I'm going to go right next to it and add some brown body paint to kind of give it a little bit of darkness. Underneath each of those flaps, I'm adding some brown eyeshadow to give it a little bit more definition and make it seem the real deal. And I'm also adding some shadow on the sides of each of those, and then right before the highlight to give that some contour. With brown eyeshadow, I'm also going to be creating a little bit of a shadow underneath each of those leather straps to give them a little bit more of a three-dimensional look and like the light is hitting them and causing a shadow on the jacket. I'm also drawing some lines throughout the jacket to create some curvature in the jacket to make it seem like the jacket has some movement to it. This is really random. I'm just kind of drawing lines as I think that they would be. Inside of each of those holes, I felt like there should definitely be some shadow in there. So with a little bit of brown and black eyeshadow mixed together, I'm just creating some shadow-like marks inside of each of those holes. I'm adding some black to some of those lines that I created for the creasing, just in areas that I think would be a lot deeper. With a tiny bristle brush and white body paint, I'm just adding some random strokes within those white areas that I was trying to create tears. So I was just drawing some longer strokes to give it a better idea that that area is torn. Honestly, looking at the picture, you probably can't even notice that that's what was going on, but I don't know. I like to be very detailed. I'm adding some white highlights to each of those metal pieces, just where I think that highlights would be. With an Elmer's glue stick, I'm gonna start gluing down my eyebrows. You can check out how I glue my eyebrows video, I'll link below. I drew some lines on my face where I'm going to be laying down those cuts, and with Pros-Aid and a Q-tip, I'm applying the Pros-Aid right on top of each of those cuts, spreading out the Pros-Aid a little bit further so that the wax has somewhere to stick to. Once the Pros-Aid dries down, it'll be nice and clear. That'll make sure it's nice and tacky. I'm going into this Moon Creations FX wax, and I rolled it into a little worm. I'm going to apply it and press it right on top of that Pros-Aid, and I'm going to start smushing it down and then smushing down the edges to create a nice smooth surface so that there aren't going to be any ridges on the side. I dipped my palette knife into a little bit of Vaseline. I'm going to start carving into that wax. You do need to seal the wax, so with some liquid latex, I'm patting some liquid latex right on top of those cuts, trying to keep it right on top of the cut and not spreading it out. It'll be a lot harder to conceal if you spread out that liquid latex. With this cream paint palette, I'm going into the green, blue, and the white shade. I mix them together, and with a beauty blender, I'm going to pat them into my skin. This color came out a bit too blue, so I do go back over it a couple times trying to figure out what the color is that I really wanted to create. I kept looking at different images of the Jackal, trying to get a good idea of what the skin really, like the skin color really looked like. I ended up sticking with this color, and I think it turned out pretty cool. With the Mayron Color Set Powder, I'm going to set my whole face with this powder puff and the powder. This is going to keep the grease paint from moving around and getting extremely oily. I let that sit for a few minutes, and then with a big fluffy brush, I'm just going to wipe away all of that powder. At this point, everything's going to be nice and dry, so it's not really going to disturb any of that oily paint I just put on. With red body paint, I'm going in between each of those cuts and adding that red body paint to make it have the appearance that those cuts are pretty fresh. I'm dipping into this Makeup a Murder Paint Chips palette using the black shadow for my eyes. I'm going to start smoking out both of my eyes and making them look extra dark and very creepy. With a blue-green eyeshadow, I'm going along the sides of each of those cuts to make them appear a little bit darker. I wanted those to pop a little bit more, so that's what I'm doing here. With that blue-green eyeshadow, I'm also going to start creating some lines on the face for wrinkles. I'm adding some smile lines and lines underneath my eyes. I'm adding some wrinkle crease lines in the middle of the eyebrows, creating some forehead wrinkles and some crow's feet. To darken up those wrinkles, I'm taking a little bit of black eyeshadow, and I'm just adding a little bit of black eyeshadow to the areas that I feel would appear a little bit darker and a little bit deeper. I started to draw lines on the lips, but I later on just took some black eyeshadow and I smoked out my lips just to give that creepy look. And then I'm going to start chiseling out my cheekbones with some black eyeshadow. I wanted to add a few more cuts, so with red body paint, I'm just drawing these lines to give the appearance of the cuts. I'm not going to make them look 3D or anything. There's already so much going on with this look. I'm applying this yellow tooth enamel to my teeth. I had to do that to get my teeth nice and dry and then paint on top of them. This is the completed look. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.